Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I would like to get to for the second half of 2021. I have 10 books that I want to talk to you about. Some of these are books that have been on my TBR the longest, some of them since probably 2009. And some of them are very popular books. So essentially this TBR is also popular books I haven't read yet. So I don't need to say how excited I am to read these books because they're all popular and they're all books that I really want to read. Hopefully this year. There is one book, the first book I will talk about, that I need to get to this year. And we'll see what it is. But yes, let's get on into it. So the first book that I desperately need to read this year is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. This is book one in the Aragon series. All I know about the series is it involves dragons, and this is the book that has been on my TBR the absolute longest. I have over 200 unread books on my shelves, and this is the oldest unread book that I currently own. I got this when I was in junior high. I am now 25, and I still have yet to read it. This is one of those series where people, when they find out I love to read, they go, "Have you read Aragon?" And I'm like, that is a sore subject with me. This has been on my yearly TBR since probably 2009. It's always at the top of my TBR list every month whenever I used to do monthly TBRs as well. I eventually stopped doing monthly TBRs because this book was always on it and this book always went unread. I still desperately want to read it because it is like such a classic and it's like my nemesis at this point. But yes, I love dragons, I love mythical creatures, so I'm sure I will love this one as well. You can see I've actually tabbed it because a few years ago I was reading multiple books at once so I could get through a lot, and I would tab sections so that I would finish a book in a certain time. Never picked it up. Yeah, let me know if you've read this and let me know if I should get to it like right away. I know I should because it's been on my TBR for so long and every time I look at it, I just feel ashamed. The next book I have is a very popular and well-loved book on BookTube, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I have not read this series yet, and the main reason I haven't read it yet is because I know it is about fairies, and I hate fairies. I do not like reading books about fairies. Every time I read a book and there's fairies mentioned, it is always my least favorite part, so I am very hesitant about this series, especially because I know it is so well loved. But I love Sarah J. Maas's books, and I think this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I think it follows this girl, Feyre, and she accidentally kills a fairy or something. I don't know. I just know it's about fairies, and that's why I'm scared to read it because I don't like fairies. Let me know if you also are one of those people that don't like fairies but you actually enjoyed this because that would encourage me to read it. I just know that it's very well loved, and sorry I haven't read it yet, but I do own all the books except for the newest one that came out, but I own like 4 of them in hardcover. So I definitely need to read them soon, but I'm scared because once again, I hate fairies. The next book I have is from one of my favorite contemporary authors, and that is Save the Date by Morgan Matson. So Morgan Matson's newest book just came out, but I still need to read this one first because I like to read them as they come out, but I haven't read this one yet, and this one came out in, I think, like 2019 maybe. All I know is that it involves a wedding, and the main girl just wants the perfect thing to happen, all the families together. She doesn't even want to think about college, and then everything that could possibly go wrong during a wedding goes wrong. So I'm really excited because I just love Morgan Matson's books. They always make me feel really happy and really good, and they just bring like the best feelings, and they're really good to read during summer because I actually hate summer, and so when I can read a book that makes me feel like I don't hate it, that's actually pretty fun. So yes, I'm looking forward to reading this one, and then when I read it I can finally read her new one as well. The next one I have is actually the sequel in a long series, which is also a spin-off series of a series that I love, and that is The Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead. This is book 2 in the Bloodline series. So Bloodlines took me a very long time to get to. I read Vampire Academy and I absolutely loved it, and so I was planning on continuing with Bloodlines right away, and I never did. So then probably last year I reread Vampire Academy so I could finally continue with Bloodlines, and I did. Except after the first one, I didn't continue again. I used to be one of those people that would binge read series, and now I don't. I don't know why that changed. Maybe it's because I read so many books now that I just don't binge read series anymore, but I wish I did because then I could finally get this one done. I've had the series on my shelves for so long. So this is a vampire series. If you can't tell by my channel name, that's kind of my brand. I love vampire series. Like I said, I loved Vampire Academy, and the first book, Bloodlines, I also really enjoyed. I love these characters, and the way the first one ended, I'm anxious to see how the series goes because honestly, the first one almost could have been a standalone, so we'll see how things go. But yes, I definitely need to get to this one and continue and finally finish the Bloodline series. The next one I have is also a very beloved book on booktube, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is another one that has been on my shelves for a while. So this is set in the 1920s, and there's like ghosts and demons and like mythical creatures out there or something, but there's also like murder in this book, I think. So it sounds like there's a lot of my favorite things all in one book. An old era, ghosts and demons, and murder. Like, that's me in a book, okay? I've heard fantastic things about this book. I heard that it's so creepy and atmospheric and just really wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to it because it sounds like something that I would just absolutely love and demolish. I also own the first, I think, 2 in this series, so I could read those back to back and finally like finish this. I can't remember how many there are, 3 or 4, we'll see. But yes, I'm really looking forward to this one. I just have a feeling that I'm absolutely going to love it. The next book I have is also a sequel, and this is a very beloved book and series and author, and that is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. This is book 2 in the Dark Artifices. So I have read book 1, but I never picked up the second one. In fact, when the second one came out, I reread book 1 so I could pick this up right away, and I never did. So I am actually currently rereading all of the Shadowhunter books so I could finally continue on. I think I am 1 book away, yes, because I am currently on my 3rd read of Lady Midnight, so I could finally get to this one. Yes, I've read Lady Midnight 3 times and still haven't picked up the series, and I think for me it's because even though I love the series, and if I could probably choose one like author to read for the rest of my life, it would probably be Cassandra Clare because there's so many books in this world. These books are massive, and I don't like big books, and no matter how much I love the characters in the world, big books will always intimidate me, but I know I'm going to love it, so I just need to finally just dive in and pick it up and be obsessed with it. This next book is also a pretty popular book, and that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is book 1 in this series, and I just feel like this is going to be something I will absolutely fall in love with. So it says, Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont, founded by an early 20th century tycoon for the best and brightest students around. When Ellingham's wife and daughter were kidnapped, the only clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder, signed with the frightening pseudonym Truly Devious. Their disappearance became one of the great unsolved crimes in history. And then I think this takes place many years later. There's a new student at the academy, and she's trying to figure out the mystery. I think that's what happens. Either way, there's a murder mystery involved, kidnapping. I love crime and crime books and murder and all that stuff. So I feel like I'm really going to love this one and just fly through. So I just pick it up already. I just need to do it already. I say that about all these, but this one, I feel it close to my heart. This next book is the first book in a series by an author I absolutely love, and that is The Hidden Oracle, book 1 by Rick Riordan. This is book 1 in the Trials of Apollo series. So in this series, we follow Apollo. This book has been out for so long, and I own all the books in the series, and I have yet to read them. I am so far behind on my Rick Riordan books because I'm trying to play catch up on his books, but also his publishing company, Rick Riordan Presents. There's so many great mythology stories out there now, all thanks to Rick Riordan, and like he has some great authors under his publication, so I really want to read this. Apollo is not my favorite from the other series, so I'm interested to see if I will come to love him in this series, but yes, cannot wait. I love Rick Riordan, and I just feel so nostalgic every time I read him. And the next book I have is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a book 3 in the From Blood and Ash series, and the main reason I haven't read this one yet is because it's a weapon. Like, it could kill you. It is so big. I've already stated I don't like big books. It is so intimidating. I prefer short books. They're easier and faster to get through, and big books, it's just like so heavy to hold. It's so inconvenient. Sorry, I'm complaining, but you know how it is. I just don't like big books, and I am not drawn to picking them up, but I have kept up with the series as they've been published. I read From Blood and Ash like right when it was published. I read the sequel like the day it came out. This one, still haven't read it. So I need to get to it, and maybe if I like read it on Kindle, it'll be easier. Maybe that's what I should do when I have big books, is read them on Kindle, because I'm never gonna reach for a big book over a short book. That's just not how it's gonna happen for me. But yes, excited to read it. I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is another vampire series. That's my brand, so gotta stick with it. And the last book I have to show you, I have so many books I could show you that I need to read this year, but I'm gonna stop at 10. This one is actually in my first book haul like ever. So this is the oldest unread book that I actually hauled on this channel, and that is Jacobi by William Ritter. This is another one that I think I'll really like. It's set in the 1800s, 1892 in New England, and I think this is also like a murder mystery. So you already know me, old times, murder, that's my thing. So I'm really excited for this one, although I got it in 2015, my first book haul, one of my first YouTube videos, and I still haven't read it. So I might, sneak peek, I might be doing like a TBR project where I read books that I have previously hauled years and years ago and just never read. And this is at the top of the list for that. So those are all the books that I really want to get to this year. Well, I misspoke. Those are not all the books I really want to get to. Those are 10 of the books that I really want to get to. Let me know which ones you've read of these and which one that I should definitely pick up like ASAP. I know there's a lot of popular ones on here, but also let me know what is one book that you need to get to before the year is over. I would love to know. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!